overview. The Orioles have been on a bit of a heater, climbed back into the AL East race. The Blue Jays have started to falter. They've been 2-8 in their last 10. The Yankees finally caught them, and the Orioles are now within 4 games of the Yankees for the division lead. In good position to make the playoffs, regardless of whether or not we're able to catch up in the division. 5.5 game lead in the wild card. You see there's a bunch of 500-ish teams down here. The A's, the Royals, the Tigers, the Mariners, who are underperforming right now, 42 and 47, still barely hanging on in the race. But in good position to at least make the wild card. Division's still within reach. Going to have to really play fabulous baseball down the stretch if we're going to catch the Yankees and the Blue Jays. It's going to be hard to hop 2 teams. But we're right there. If we look at the starting rotation, Kyle Bradish has been great as the ace. Grayson Rodriguez has been just as good, if not better. Tarek Skubal, who came over in a trade earlier in the season, wound up trading for Sandy Alcantara and then flipped Alcantara to Detroit in a move to bring in Skubal. Of course, this is my team. I'm really pushing all in to try to win a World Series within maybe the next 2 to 3 years with this team before having to kind of turn over the roster and start a bit of a rebuild. But I think this is the opportunity, so I went all in and was able to get Skubal. German Marquez is kind of the 5th guy in this rotation. He's really pitched great for that role. Framber Valdez, another guy brought over in a trade from Houston. He's been really good since coming over. You see this rotation is red hot. Everybody's pitching well. Dean Kramer's on the long relief role. He's fine. Yanier Cano in middle relief. He's been pretty good. Keegan Aiken has been up and down. Gregory Soto, it's been a mixed bag. When he's good, but he struggles with control, works himself into trouble a little bit too often. Brusdar Graterol came over in a trade for the Dodgers. Wasn't even on the Dodgers Major League roster. And I pulled a trade for him, put him in the bullpen, and he's just taken off. And he's worked his way into the setup role at this point. Been absolutely outstanding. Ryan Helsley came over in a trade from the Cardinals. He was really struggling with the Cardinals. I've put him into a setup role here. He started to pitch a little bit better, but the ERA is a little bit elevated. The whip at 1.21 is around league average. It's a little high for Helsley, but it's on the way down. And Felix Bautista has been outstanding in the closer's role. If we look at the lineup, I have kind of started to implement a new lineup structure, even though it's not reflected here. I've been doing it pregame. So I'm going to make the change live right now here with you. Jackson Holiday has been hitting leadoff. Rushman's moved into the 3-hole. And Kerstad is hitting 7th ahead of Kauser and Mullins. Jackson Holiday has really started to get hot. He struggled to start the season, was hitting in about the 230s. I was always hoping he would get the batting average up enough that I could use him as a leadoff hitter. He's got great plate discipline, so he gets on base quite a bit. He's got that OBP up to 356, and he's kind of taken that leadoff role and run with it. Mike Trout has been hitting second. Is really thriving in a DH role. I play him in the outfield maybe twice a week at this point, and I just try to keep him healthy by keeping him in the DH spot as much as possible. Rushman's been fabulous as the starting catcher. Tyler Stevenson is the backup. Sorry, excuse me. Gunnar Henderson has been an MVP candidate, hitting cleanup, playing short. C.J. Abrams I brought over from the Nationals. He is definitely a better fit at third base than shortstop. The defense wasn't great at shortstop. He was struggling a little bit defensively and with the bat in Washington. Since I brought him over and moved him to third base, he started hitting a lot better, and he's really solved what was a hole at third base. I had to move on from Jordan Westberg. He was not hitting for me. Ended up moving him to Detroit, and he's really started to hit the ball well since that trade. I'm not mad about it, though, because I got C.J. Abrams out of it, and I'm happy with that move. Ryan O'Hearn has been fine at first base. I've been platooning him with Yandy Diaz. Diaz cold right now, but these two kind of split first base. Heston Kjerstad was hitting higher in the lineup earlier in the season, but he's been on a cold streak. The average in OBP has come down. The slugging's dipped below 400. I mean, he's just kind of there. Colton Cowser has underperformed in right field. He's been a bit of a disappointment, hitting 233, 295 OBP, 366 slugging. And Cedric Mullins in center field is again not hitting the ball. 227 average, 273 OBP, 357 slugging. So if you look, my outfield right now is crowded at the bottom of this lineup. Really, none of these guys are performing. This lineup 1 through 6 is just been unbelievable, just mashing the ball. But 7 through 9 has been a real problem. I've kind of added to my bench throughout the season to try to work on this a little bit. So I've got Ha-Seong Kim. He struggled with the bat a little bit too, but really good defensively. So at times I let him play infield and maybe give Henderson or Abrams a day at DH and move Trout to the outfield. I have Jorge Mateo, who's at least fast. He doesn't really do much else. I'm really gonna probably look to maybe add an outfielder at some point before the trade deadline. We'll see if anything hits the trade block. If I have to go into the end of the season with this, it just is what it is, and I might look in the off season or in free agency to sign it kind of maybe like a value upgrade. If we look at the All-Star voting, the last thing we look at here, I've got Grayson Rodriguez at the top of the starting pitching voting. He's a virtual lock to make this team at this point. Kyle Bradish is kind of on the fringes of whether or not he's going to make this team. I think he's deserving. We'll see if we end up getting 5 starting pitchers on this roster. Skubal is right there as well, not far off. I think either Bradish or Skubal both have a chance to sneak onto this roster. I've got nothing at relief pitcher. Closer, Felix Bautista is a lock at this point to make the team. Adley Rushman is going to be the starting catcher. I've got O'Hearn at first base. I think is too far down in the voting to make the team, but he's at least in the picture. Second base, nobody. Third base, Abrams is down here at 440,000 votes. I don't think he's going to make the team. I think it's probably going to be Ramirez, Bregman, possibly Devers. But Abrams having a strong season, probably not going to make the All-Star team. Gunnar Henderson is a lock to make the team. Going to probably start at shortstop. If we look at left field, there's nothing. Center field, nothing. Right field, Mike Trout is kind of on the fringes of making the team. He is not listed as a DH, even though I've been playing him a lot as a DH, so he doesn't really have the opportunity to make the team that way. So I think his only real shot at this point is if they end up carrying 3 right fielders, which might not be the case. So even though he's having an outstanding season, I don't know if he's going to make the roster because Reynolds and Judge have been so good. But that's the state of the Baltimore Orioles at this point. Playing really good baseball going into early July and hopefully into the All-Star break. Going to try to make up some ground on the Yankees and Blue Jays and try to pull out this division. If not, hold on to a wild card spot. But that is the July 6th Baltimore Orioles overview. Thanks for watching.